Hello, my name is Mrs. Moyer, and I'm the Science Program Supervisor for grades 6 through 12. During this presentation, I am really only focused on grades 9 through 12. You will hear a little bit about the graduation requirements that are required in the Science Department. You'll hear about a few changes that have occurred with some of our class offerings, as well as learning about the different electives that are available for you to take during your 9th through 12th grade career. If you have any questions at any point, you can certainly ask your science teacher, your counselor, and you are more than welcome to email me at moyers@carlisleschools.org. All right, so let's talk about your graduation requirements. The graduation requirements are pretty much the length or over the course of your high school program, so please don't freak out if there are things listed on here that you have not met. First of all, you will need an Earth and Space Science course. Now, for those of you already enrolled in the high school, Earth and Space Science is just a name change from the GEO. So if you have a Geoenvironmental Science course listed in PowerSchool in any place, then you are satisfying that requirement. It's just a new name. Your Earth and Space Science and your Bio requirement really are coming from your 9th and 10th grade year, except there is an exception. Your AP Environmental Science, you cannot take 9th or 10th grade. You have to wait until you're in 11th or 12th. But your Earth and Space is available in Option 1, Option 2, and Honors levels, as is Bio. The AP Bio does not satisfy this requirement. It has to come from that Intro Bio course. You also have to demonstrate proficiency on the Bio Keystone exam that is now a graduation requirement. Now looking ahead, your physical science courses, you have kind of two options to get that particular graduation requirement met. You can either take a chemistry course, and that chemistry can be an Option 1, Option 2, or Honors level. Again, AP Chemistry will not satisfy this. Or you can take a physics course. Now the physics, you have quite a few options, and the AP does satisfy this. So you can take Conceptual Physics, you can take AP Physics 1, you could take AP Physics C, or you could take Aerospace Engineering, and all of those would satisfy that physical science course requirement. I will talk a little bit more about the AP Physics options as well as that AP Physics 2, since that does need a feeder course. So if you're an incoming freshman, so 8th graders coming into 9th grade, this is very exciting. There's a couple changes, so I want you to make sure that you are really focused on this slide. So you have two options depending on what your math is. You have Earth and Space Science or Honors Bio. So Earth and Space Science now has, and it's new, you now have the option to take an Honors Earth and Space Science your freshman year. So at this point, or leading up to this year, we only had Option 1 and Option 2 available for 9th graders. But again, we added an honors class for those that are really highly engaged and interested in the sciences, but you just didn't have that math requirement met. So the math requirement in order to get into Honors Bio, you must have completed Algebra 1. Sometimes kids don't have that math yet, and that's totally fine. So you can still earn that extra weighted GPA with the Honors Earth and Space your 9th grade year. If you do have the algebra, you can certainly still choose the Earth and Space Science. However, most kids will choose Honors Bio. This is going to be pretty fast paced just because we do have to hit all the curriculum before the Keystone exam in May. Here's what I'll say. The Algebra 1 has to be completed. However, if you want to do Earth and Space Science your 9th grade year, that is totally fine. Honors Bio is now open to 9th and 10th grade students. So my classes are very mixed with 9th and 10th grade students in it. So you can certainly always come back and take that your sophomore year if you're really loaded up on History Day with your honors world history, totally up to you. So again, these are really your only two options that you have available to you. But again, you're going to hit one of your graduation requirements your freshman year. So whether that it comes from your Earth and Space Science or your Honors Bio. Okay, so now looking ahead, I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about what your 9th grade year will look like, and then following up with your 10th grade. So for example, if you take Earth and Space Science, and it does not matter if it's Option 1, Option 2, or that honors course, if you take any of those your 9th grade year, you will automatically enroll into the Bio your 10th grade year. And that Bio could be that Option 1, Option 2, or honors, okay? So Earth and Space Science 9th grade, automatically Bio your 10th grade year. If you do Bio your freshman year, Your math is going to allow you to then take chemistry or physics your 10th grade year. So depending on which math you are in, you could take either of those options. So you actually will have your bio and then your physical science graduation requirement met before you get your earth and space. Your earth and space requirement will typically be met in your 11th grade year, where you will then take your AP environmental science. Now, this is really important. As you go through your high school career, there are a couple courses that will make sure that you have to have other science courses before you take it. So for example, if a student is really interested in engineering and they take only physics courses, but then they want to take AP Bio their senior year, they won't be able to do that. They cannot take an AP Bio without first having a chemistry. So that's where sometimes you really have to play with your schedule. Sometimes you are going to have to double up if you're really interested in any STEM field. We also strongly recommend, if you are looking at any STEM-oriented field, you really want kind of like a traditional pathway, meaning you want to take a bio, you want to have a chem, and you want to have that physics on top of that earth and space. Because the last place you want to be confused is your first year of college in any of those classes. Typically, your calculus classes and some of those intro science courses are used as weeding out courses. So we really want to get you that foundation here at the high school before you exit and go to college or your post-secondary enrollment or work field, whatever it is you choose to do. We really want to have that foundation built at the high school level. Okay, so now once you get into your sophomore year and beyond, you have quite a few options for electives, and the electives really are coming from the other courses that you have taken. So for example, if you took physics, then your electives could be coming from the chemistry. If you took chemistry to satisfy your physical science graduation requirement, then your electives are coming from the physics realm. Other electives, though, that we have available for you include honors anatomy and physiology, you have AP environmental science, you have all those AP physics courses, the 1, 2, and C, you have the AP Chem and AP Biology. What I'll say is you are certainly able to double up. I'll discuss doubling up shortly, but you've got to make sure that you're really reading the math prereqs that are required for each of these science courses, as well as the grade level at which they can be taken. You will notice that for two of the courses listed, aerospace engineering and the honors anatomy and physiology, they have like these little asterisks. That also means that they satisfy a component of a CTE program of study. So the aerospace engineering, if you're going into the engineering program of study, that is satisfying that as well as a physical science requirement. If you take honors anatomy and physiology, that is satisfying the health careers program of study. Okay. So just like I mentioned, you really are going to want to look at that educational planning guide to make sure that your math classes cover what is needed for that particular science class. So for example, if you are enrolling in honors chemistry, you would either need to be taking Algebra 2 or already have passed Algebra 2. So in the EPG, you're going to see something that's called the prereq. That means you have already taken it. Or you can see something that says concurrent, which means you can take it at the same time that you are taking that science course. But please make sure you check that EPG. We do make sure that those math courses are satisfied, or you will be unenrolled from the course until you do. So some general science questions. Yes, you can absolutely double up, which means you're taking two sciences at once. Again, check that math. That second level, though, the second science course that you would have on your schedule, so say you take AP Bio and you are also taking honors anatomy and physiology, one of those would be considered your core class, the other would take the slot for an elective. So just make sure if you're really heavily involved in like art or music or languages, that extra course would take away that slot. So your advanced placement courses. So again, this is really when you're into your junior and senior year. It says, do all advanced placement courses require a feeder course? So there's a couple answers to this. So AP Environmental Science does not require you to take an Earth and Space Science, okay? If you are currently enrolled in our high school, the Earth and Space Science was called Geoenvironmental Science. So that's a name change. So you do not have to either have the Earth and Space Science on your transcript or what we used to call the honors Geoenvironmental Science courses or regular geo. This is a standalone course. And remember, it does satisfy an Earth and Space Science graduation requirement, which is really nice because, again, you can get some college credit because it is a part of our college in the high school program, and you can also take the AP exam for that. However, if you choose to take AP Chemistry, you must have that intro level of Chem. So that Chemistry 1, which is option 1, 2, or honors, has to be already taken and successfully passed to take AP Chemistry. AP Physics C does not require a physics feeder course. So it used to require one. However, the College Board has changed that. The only thing that you have to make sure that you have or are going to take concurrently is calculus. That has to be present in order for you to take AP Physics C. If you choose to take AP Bio, you do need to already have passed bio, the option 1, option 2, and honors. That, again, bio course is going to be your Keystone exam prep course. So that has to already be completed and successfully passed in order to take AP Bio. So there's lots of answers for that one. Some general questions regarding science fair or summer work. We no longer require either of these. However, we are certainly encouraging students to partake in what is our local science fair called CASAC, or you can do regional, which is going to be your PJS and CASF science fairs. But again, they're no longer required or hooked to a certain science course anymore. Summer work also is no longer required in any of the sciences, regardless if it's an honors or advanced placement course. And I already said, yes, you do have a Keystone and is at the end of your Biology 1 course, so your option 1, option 2 are honors. If you are interested in any of those upper level elective courses, teachers in the following courses that are listed in pink on the screen are going to be providing additional videos that you can certainly access to determine if this is the course that you would like to enroll in. You have Honors Anatomy and Physiology. I will say this fills up extremely quickly. You also have Advanced Placement Chemistry, Advanced Placement Bio, Advanced Placement Environmental Science, and AP Physics 1, 2, and C will all have videos trying to kind of showcase what to expect if you enroll in that course. It is worth noting that in advanced placement courses, you do not necessarily have had to have had an honors course as a feeder. It could be an option 1 or an option 2. So sometimes kids get a little bit confused about that. The main thing is that the prereqs or those concurrent courses are being taken. Okay, so if you have any questions at the conclusion of this PowerPoint, please just let me know. You can reach out, like I said before, to your science teacher. You could reach out even to your math teacher, your counselors. You can certainly email me. It is moyers@carlisleschools.org. Please note there are 2 Moyer S's at Carlisle Schools. One is Moyer S1. Please do not use that one. I am Moyer S without that one. So if 2 names pop up, please just choose the one without the number. Okay, good luck with course selection.